Hello and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program episode. And first off, I want to apologize that this episode is rather late. I have a couple of reasons for that. One has been school. I'll talk more on that later. Then I was sick last week, and when I was almost finished making this episode, I changed my mind. I did not like how things turned out, and things were taking a long time for me to get to Minmus and do everything. So even though the episodes were just like 15 minutes of interesting or some interesting stuff, it took me maybe 3 or 4 hours recording time. So it was a lot of time on my part that didn't get shown because it was all alignment changes, getting to Minmus back and forth, and it took a lot of energy and time. So I decided to make some changes, and that's the reason for the name of this episode. And the main change is that we're not going to Minmus, we are going to the moon instead. It will be easier, but I don't want to start all over and have like 10 episodes where we build up the moon again. So this will be 2 intense episodes where we turn around on the spot, gather all the Kerbals we can, and head for the moon. The Kerbals have gotten a lot of money and support for their big switch, and that's what we'll do. So the first thing I did in this episode was to go back to the moon, find where is the key thing on moon, and actually discovered something rather interesting. We have landed one of our survey probes earlier on right on a keythane deposit, a really big one actually. So I thought it would be, if we think of it like storytelling, it could be that the Kerbals suddenly discovered a bigger and more efficient keythane spot on the moon, and they decided to head for the moon instead. So the first thing that I sent over there is the fuel truck. Main reason for that, it was available, easy to fly over, and I wanted to mark the spot with something a little bit bigger and to test fly the landing. So this is the fuel lander. If you can see in the dark, it's not that easy to see, I think, but we are doing a slow landing here on the moon, and I think it's actually a quite scenic view. And yeah, so the big changes I'm talking about is, well, it's mostly one big change, that we're going from Minmus to the moon instead, and this is to get my recording time more efficient. But I wanted, as I said earlier, I wanted this to be not 10 episodes. We're gonna do this in 2 episodes. I was originally going to do it in 1 episode, but it turned out to be an hour-long episode, so I split it in 2, and I can almost with 100% guarantee that will be done in the next episode, because I've already recorded 95% of everything that we're going to do. But yeah, this is the keythane deposit, or where we're going to land. I'm using mechanical jib here just because, yeah, I had recorded the whole episode going to Minmus and started building the base when I decided that that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I was a little tired and kind of wanted to just get this whole new base, get a move on. So using mechanical jib to do it easy for me, and I also could work on some different things in the meanwhile. Now the only thing is that the keythane deposit is a little bit to the side of the probe. I think it might also be going right under the probe, but I found this, or I saw that we had this big flat area where we could build our base, and I decided to move ourselves a little bit over and try to get a little bit more in the center of the whole plain, or hill, the flat area where we'll build a base. So I'm messing about a little bit here, just trying to get the whole thing to level out and getting a perfect landing, having just barely enough fuel to land, but that doesn't matter because this is the refueling truck. So once we get the base built, we will be able to refuel this and take it into orbit and refuel our spacecrafts there. Now, after some mucking about and getting this thing to level out, I think I ended up with having to give it a little bit of assistance. It actually landed quite nicely, but I think next time I'm going to land it by hand. It's sometimes easier. But yeah, that's our... well, this is the place for our new Kethane base, or new Kethane spot, because it won't be a new base since we haven't built the other one yet. But yeah, the next thing now, we had the space train ready to go, so instead of sending it to Minmus, the train got an order at the last second to go to the moon instead. And you can see we have the base. Well, it's not easy to see in the dark, I apologize, but having the new dark in Kerbal Space Program is really great, but it makes it really hard to capture good video of things when you're on the dark side. But it has the drilling part, the main Kethane drilling unit, the power unit, and the first fuel tank. We'll probably load up some more fuel tanks on the back if we need to. That's the beauty of this whole rig, is that we can dock as many things as we like and need to it as time goes by. But these are the three main parts we need in the beginning. And yeah, you see me circularizing around the moon and just getting this perfect, and trying to find out how I'm going to get it down on the moon. Now, I use a lot of fuel getting here because this fuel truck has already been one trip to Minmus and then going back to Kerbal, so it didn't leave with too much fuel. So we are gonna have to do something with that. We're going to send up a refueling train. So that's what I'm launching here right now, the refueling or just a fuel tank with RCS and fuel to refuel the train a little bit. It'd probably be easier to do this around Kerbal, but didn't think of that. So yeah, for this episode we are sending up a lot of stuff. The next episode we're finishing off the base and some other things that I would like to show you. And I have a couple of more episodes planned out, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. So yeah, what has been taking up all my time, all my precious Kerbal Space Program time? Well, exams are getting closer. That's always great fun, and that means reading for hours and hours, and yeah, not that much fun, but still, you gotta do it. And this summer I have two big projects, school projects, that I'm having a presentation and exam in, and a couple of exams in some different subjects as well. So the projects are taking a lot of time, working really hard trying to get them done before exam time. And then I also have some private projects. I think I'm going to show you some of them soon. They're more for, well, my education and fun, but I think I will just show you some of what I've been doing, but they are not ready at all to be displayed, and they're something I do when on my free time, so we'll see when I get that done. And well, this hasn't taken up my time actually, but last night I passed 150 subscribers, so I want to thank everybody for that. It's been great support and I love the feedback. I was going to do an episode on marking 100 and never got the time for that, and we'll see if I get the time for this 150. Maybe we can combine a couple and do that. That would be great. I'm really trying to get all these episodes done, and I have a lot of ideas, but yeah, this is a really busy time for me, and the few hours I get off I either spend in the gym or watching some Big Bang or something, because, well, I need some rest too. So yeah, right now we are going to land the power drill, or the main unit, let's call it the main unit. And this was more difficult than I had expected, because as I said in an earlier episode, I forgot to think about how to land this. But I really didn't bother that much about it, because we were going to land these on Minmus, and I thought when we're going to move to the moon in later episodes, we can just attach some docking nodes on the top and send them up again. But since I decided to do this change, and I didn't want to get rid of all the work we done with the last ones, I wanted to try to land them like this. Now, saying that was not easy. They kept breaking. I think this is like my 10th attempt, 8th or to 10th attempt, and I ended up cheating a little bit. I turned on part clipping, because the best landing I got, I still lost the docking node on the back. It was not good enough. It wasn't stuck good enough on, so I ended up using part clipping just to save that docking node. So you'll see for the other units I have a little bit more elegant method of doing it than just dropping it on the surface. So yeah, sending the space train up into orbit, or starting to send it back up to orbit. Just heading over to the 90 degrees and getting it to catch up with the fuel tank and power unit. It is running a little bit low on fuel, this fuel train. Right now there's a half fuel tank left, so that's good, but yeah, we need to start getting our kethane base working now, because fuel is starting to be a big problem with all these maneuvers. So I have already gotten a lot further in this episode, so I can say that it's probably going to work. I think it was a good idea to do this, because, or go to the moon, because when I did make the episode that was going to be out on Thursday, I got into base 2 Minmus and I started to land it, and there was used so much fuel to get there and so much time that I kind of lost patience with Minmus. I love that we'd gone to Minmus and done all that, but yeah. So yeah, just going back to what's actually happening for a second, I just turned the module around and I flipped over again right at the start where I'm driving. So the reason for why I'm flipping it around was that I forgot to stop, or well, I used the Q and E controls for some reason. I think I missed, and that activated the SAS unit and made it flip over. So going into proper docking mode and driving it, that worked a lot better. And we can see we are getting or arriving at our destination, and I'm really crossing fingers here that once we start drilling we will find kethane and be able to mine it. Now this unit only has 2 or 3 solar panels, the small ones, so it will not be able to drill with all 4 efficiently, but we can do a test run here before we get the rest of the units up here, or down here actually, because they're already in orbit. So I'm just backing it up, getting it a little closer to the refueling craft. Now the refueling, I don't think I talked too much about it, but it has the quantum fuel transfer nodes. You can see them right underneath the batteries, and there's a ladder there, so one of the Kerbals will have to go up there and select it and go over to the fuel tank, which also has it, and there they can refuel the fuel truck and fly it into orbit. And that's where we're going to have our moon station, which we will soon be able to see. But yeah, you can see we are drilling kethane and getting good amount of kethane out of the ground, so this looks like a success. So yeah, the moon station, this is a big one. You can see I've used 3 of my normal launchers to get this into orbit, and this is one solid base. It can take 8 Kerbals, and I haven't built it any well, I haven't built more capacity for the Kerbals, just in the reason, or for the reason that I don't think we need Kerbals staying in a space station around the moon, or too many. But it will be a good space for them, or place for them to stay while they're waiting for the crew bus or the return vessel to get back home. So yeah, I said I wasn't going to talk too much about upcoming episodes, but I will give a hint. Well, the next one is finishing off what I'm started on this episode, getting the last pieces of the base ready, and the next episode after that is going to be a cleanup. We are changing some of our outdated and old spacecrafts, because some of these spacecrafts were built before 019, so they don't have all the new parts, and they're not built with lights, which makes them kind of useless at night. And we're also going to clean up after ourselves on Minmus. We're not going to destroy the rover or anything. We're going to leave that there so we can drive around and explore Minmus at times. But we're going to do something with Zeus, and we're also going to find some new methods of getting to the space station. But yeah, this launch went wrong, I think 3 or 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. I'm showing you all 4 attempts on getting this into orbit, because I think it was kind of spectacular views. You can see them up in the right corner. And yeah, 4 failed attempts before I got the launch stage working. Now the main reason, or the reason why it is falling apart in the start here, is I think it's just too powerful. It just destroyed itself from all the power of those launch stages. And it's kind of fun to watch. It's just spinning out of control. This is a rocket that weighs more than 900 tons at launch, so it turns into some great fireworks sometimes, and this time it just went into 3 burning rockets flying their separate ways. Now the next one is just just overpower again. It explodes the side engine. It took these 3 attempts for me to realize that I had way too much power, because the G-forces weren't telling me that there was too much power, but no matter how much blocking or struts I used, it didn't really make a difference. I don't, probably some other tolerances that I maxed out, but removing the solid boosters worked fine. And when I done that, this is what happened. I got a dancing stage because yeah, all the struts were attached to the boosters. Yay me. So strutting it up and getting it into orbit, and it worked on, I think that will be the 5th attempt. Yes, 1 2 3 4 5. This is the 5th attempt. Now you can see I'm using the, or if you can see, this is the new mechanical jab 2, and this is the first time I'm using it, so you will see me a little bit trying to figure out what some stuff are. But first I was a little skeptical to the new one. Sorry, I thought it looked a little chaotic at first, but sitting down and reading it for myself and seeing it on the screen, it's actually really good organized, and I think it has some great potentials. It's still in the beta, I think, but it's very good. It uses the maneuver nodes in the system, and it's very clear and easy to use. It gives you plenty more information. So yeah, we're now taking this huge base to the moon, and for some reason I hit the button to deploy all the solar panels, and I really didn't want that. There is no danger doing it, but it looks kind of stupid having all the main solar panels out when going on a transport journey. So I tried to get them back in, and well, as normally we can't see anything in the dark. You can see the glowing engines for now, but I hope really soon now we are going to see it come out in the sunlight and we can see how it looks. But yeah, the new mechanical jab, easy. You can change the apoapse and periapses very easily. It's because it's using the maneuver nodes, it's not always 100% correct on the apoapse and periapse, but that's the only downside to the new one I've spotted so far. So just pros, except that the apoapse and periapse controls needs a little bit of work. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm using it wrong. This is the first time, as I said, so I will do some more practicing about it and maybe make a short video on how to use mechanical jab. I was thinking of doing some tutorials on mods really soon. Yeah, as you just saw, the space station is not really fuel efficient on the RCS, but we have plenty and we will mine plenty, so no worries there. And we're taking this into a 100 orbit around the moon, and this is me just mucking about trying to find out the easiest way to circularize this whole thing. And yeah, I didn't quite understand how the maneuver nodes worked the first seconds, but just reading through what I saw on the screen, it kind of made sense pretty early on. But yeah, next episode we are sending up some landing units for the rest of the base, because they can't land with the space train as we did. That was a mistake, but I found a good way to dock some landers on it, and well, yeah, it lands nice, it works, the system works. So next episode we'll land the rest of the base, connect them up, start to produce kethane, and start refueling our moon station, the Zeus 2, or probably some other Greek goddess name we'll put on it. But yeah, that's all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll try to get the next episode somewhat closer to my normal Thursday time. But I hope it has been a good Sunday entertainment, and you guys have fun flying KSP, and this is me signing out.